give us a little bit of the perspective. What is potash and what you're doing? And then we'll go a little bit deeper on why it's so relevant for the food security in the region.
Sounds good. So potash is one of the three main nutrients to use to grow food. And if you've ever bought a bag of fertilizer, you'll see three numbers on the front of the bag. The first number is nitrogen. The second one that says P is actually phosphate, and it's the K that's the potassium, which is the potash. All three of them do different things, and all three of them are needed to grow food that have no substitute. Potash specifically helps strengthen the stem of a plant so it can resist stresses. And when you think about stress, Martin, think about how variable the weather has been lately, where we see massive temperature swings within short period of time, where we see too much rain or we see drought in countries, insect bites. All these things stress a plant and reduce its ability to grow, and potash helps it survive through those stresses. The problem with potash, though, is it's a oligopoly. There's only 3 countries that produce 80% of it, being Canada, Russia, and Belarus, and half the countries today are at war, so it's led to massive pricing volatility. Specifically, Brazil is the world's largest importer of potash, so about 22% of a $30 billion market is Brazil. They import 98% of their need, much like the US. The US is the next biggest importer that imports 95% of their need. And it's ludicrous when you have the second biggest basin potentially in the world sitting right in your backyard. So because we're in Brazil and everyone else is about 12,000 miles or 20,000 kilometers away, our cost to extract, process, and deliver this key nutrient to a farmer in Brazil is less than just the transportation costs alone for everyone else. I mean, talking about Brazil, Brazil exports about $165 billion worth of agricultural goods. It's rare in that it can grow 2 crops to 3 crops per year. Most countries can only do 1 because of a cold winter. They have the highest amount of fresh water in the world, but again, they import 85% of their fertilizer, including 98% of their potash. So by having a secure supply of fertilizer in Brazil, it helps protect against geopolitical events, against port strikes, rail strikes, and ensure the farmers have this key nutrient.
So how you see the future, not only of potash and the region as a whole, and investment needed to make sure that there is food security, not only for the region, but only for the world from Latin America?
So what's really important with this project is by, again, having that security of supply in Latin America. It's not just important for the farmers in Brazil, it also provides an alternate supply for other farmers in North America or in Europe, while also ensuring that, again, one of the world's largest exporters of food is able to continue to supply that food around the world.
And one last question. So why bringing in a partnership like IDB Invest, which is a multilateral development bank, which might be something that people doesn't understand what our role is? What do you think is important to work or engage with institutions like ours?
Well, there's a few reasons, Martin. Number one is that our project will cost about $2.5 billion to construct, out of which we're looking to raise about $1.8 billion of debt. So to raise large amounts of debt, it's very helpful to have a development finance institute and export credit agencies as part of your financial stack. So having an anchor investment from a group like IADB really does help pull together the rest of the funding for construction of the project. But what it also does is, given that we are located in the Amazonas state of Brazil, although it's on cattle farmland, it's not touching any primary rainforest, it gives comfort to other investors that this project has been properly due diligenced from an environmental, social, and governance standpoint. So the standards that IADB has are very, very high. And by passing through your diligence, it's going to provide a lot of comfort to other investors that they too can invest in this project.
Yeah, that's what we call something like originate to share. It's about, connecting and financing the project and bringing in more investment. So, Matt, I wanted to thank you for your time. I know it's a brief, but it's a good way to wrap up the conversation today. So thanks, Matt, again for your time. Nice to see you here, and hope you have a great meeting today.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.